Welcome back into my Eastman kitchen. Today is a perfect day to be in snow country. People are zooming on by on the cross-country trail. I want to invite you in to do some really awesome winter comfort food. And I must confess, there is absolutely nothing low-fat about what we're going to make today. So if you made some New Year's resolutions to do the no-fat thing, you might not want to watch this episode because we are going to do a couple of my favorites. First of all, my Italian pasta favorite, and second of all, a absolutely creamy and delicious chocolate dessert. We're actually going to put a little grown-up twist on it, but you wouldn't have to if you wanted to do it for the kids as well. So I am thrilled to be here, and I'm glad you're joining me. I'm going to get us set up with a few things that we're going to need today, and I'll be right back. We're going to start with our dessert first. It's a chocolate pot de crème, basically means pot of cream. When you make a custard type of dessert, there's a lot of different techniques that you need to do to make it set. This is a shortcut version which I've seen done that I kind of modified to do what I like with it. But there's a technique called a bain-marie, and it's a French term, and it basically means a water bath. Generally, you put together your custard cups, you put them in ramekins, similar to this one, and then you have to sit them in hot water and finish them off sometimes in an oven so that the custard, the egg in particular that you make the custard with, can set up. When my son was in his advanced French class, he desperately wanted to make creme brulee. So we learned how to do that technique, but frankly, if you want to make a quick dessert, it's kind of complex. So I found this method, which I love. So you might want to grab a pen. I'll give you 2 seconds to do that while I pull the things together. But this is going to make enough. I found these adorable little Hershey's antique parfait glasses that I'm going to put them in. So these amounts that I'm going to give you will make enough for 4 of these nice little sized. So we're going to start with hot milk. We need 2/3 of a cup of hot milk. And you know, you can do it on the stove, but why bother? I'm going to pop it in the microwave. 2/3. I'm thinking 2/3, minute and a half maybe. That's all we're going to need. And it has to be really hot because, again, we are not going to cook this. We're going to let the egg that goes into it get cooked by the hot milk. So I'm going to start with minute 25. You really want to see bubbles if you choose to microwave it. If you just put it on the stove, that's fine too. Then you got to wash the pot. I don't feel like doing that. So this is how we start. 1 egg, and I let it come a little bit to room temp as I set up the camera. You don't want it to be super, super cold because you're combining it with hot, hot milk. So I've got my trusty blender here. I'm going to put 1 egg into my blender. Into that, I am going to put, grab my tablespoon here, 2 tablespoons of regular white sugar. There's 1. There's 2. Okay. I am going to put a pinch, literally a teeny tiny pinch of salt. Done. Then I am going to put a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. When I first made this up here, I was just experimenting. I was heartbroken that I didn't have enough chocolate chips. So I had this Lindt dark chocolate, these wafers that someone had given to me as a gift. So I took my little handy dandy, this is a salad set with a golf club, and I smashed up the dark chocolate. It worked just as well as semi-sweet chocolate chips, and it was yummy. But my kids aren't super huge on that rich dark chocolate, and if you're going to eat chocolate, eat dark chocolate. It's got antioxidants and it's good for you. Let's check our milk and see if it's good and hot. And it is good and hot because it's steaming and it's burning my fingers. So that's great. So 1 cup of chocolate chips. Okay? Yeah, a few extra never hurt anybody, right? 1 for the chef. Oh, yum. Okay, so chocolate chips, 1 cup, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and a pinch of salt to start. Okay, block your ears, here we go. We're gonna grind this up first because the milk is gonna melt the chocolate, but I want to have it somewhat broken up so the milk doesn't have to work that hard. So let's get this going. And it's doing it. Breaking it up nicely. I'm thinking I need to go a little faster maybe. This is my fancy newfangled blender that I haven't really learned how to use yet. So let me make it go a little bit faster, because then I think, yeah, that's what we want. That's exactly what we want. Is that loud enough for you? It's loud enough for me. Okay, let me get my spatula. Obviously, as you can see, this totally is starting to go ballistic in here. So you want to scrape down the sides to make sure that you break up all your chocolate chips, which I'm going to do right now. But it's doing a super job. This is a nice blender. I suppose it would work really well if I had practiced with it first. Almost done, I promise. I know how loud this is. Okay, now it's not making as much noise. What does that mean? That I finally got it all blended up, which is what we want. Okay, we're gonna stream the milk in. Obviously, as you've got a blender running and you're streaming a liquid in, it's gonna fly everywhere. So use this handy dandy, most blenders do have it, the little pouring hole. So I am going to get it going. I'll keep my hand on it so it doesn't make a mess. Keep it going nice and gently. And is that a good speed? That's a good speed. Okay, put in my nice hot milk. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Nice. Oh, so nice. Put that back on. Okay, so you want to run it, and I'm sorry to make you deaf, but you want to run it long enough for it all to blend and for your chocolate to melt. And it has, ooh-wee. That looks awesome. And oh my gosh, it smells like the most incredible hot chocolate. Ah, love it. So this is it. You pour it into these beautiful little cups, or if you want to make 2 big cups, make 2 big cups. Because this meal is perfect for a date night. Save yourself 50 bucks, open your own wine at home, make this for your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and go out for the movie after you eat. All right, so as I said, the concept here is that we need to get these into the fridge so that after we have our fantastic pasta, our pot de creme will be ready to eat. So I'm gonna slide those into the fridge, chill them up. Simple dessert or what, right? And I promise you I will type up the ingredients so you'll have them. You can always check my website, www.heavenskitchenwithjanelle.com, and I'll make sure I have them there too. So let me clean up the blender and then move on to our pasta. Be right back. Before we start the pasta, that little grown-up touch to this dessert, I almost forgot about it. This is Di Serono Amaretto. Amaretto is an almond-flavored liqueur. It is one of my favorites. Sitting by a fireplace, watching snowfall, it's awesome. It's warm and delicious. So for the grown-ups, I am going to put, now that these are individual, if I was going to do this all for grown-ups, I would put 2 tablespoons of amaretto into the entire blender. But since these are not going to be the grown-up one and this one's going to be mine, I'm just going to put a teaspoon, because that's really all you're going to need. I decanted this into a snifter so I could get it out without wasting any of it and making a mess. So you just blend just a teaspoon, and then chocolate and almond together, you know, kind of like your favorite Hershey bar. What could be better? So now I really am, oh, yum. I really am going to get these into the fridge and we'll start the pasta. Hang in. Are we ready to make some pasta? Now, I love all kinds of pasta. I love red sauce, I love scampi sauce, but this absolutely has to be one of my all-time favorites. We're gonna make fettuccine Alfredo. I warned you in advance, there's nothing low-fat about it. But every once in a while, when you just need that comfort and something creamy and fantastic, and you want to impress somebody, most people would never even think of making fettuccine. They want to go to their favorite Italian restaurant. It's not difficult. You can time me. We are going to have this beautiful pasta that you can impress your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend with in less than 10 minutes, I promise. So, I've got my pasta water going. Today, just to treat myself, I'm going to use fresh pasta. It comes in the refrigerated section. It's yummy. I always use dry. It's a personal preference. Frankly, this was on sale and I thought I'd treat myself. If you use the dry, you are not going to put any oil in your pan. If you use fresh, you absolutely must put oil in your pan or it's going to stick and it's all going to lump together. Okay, so my water is cranking, good to go. We are going to salt the water always, whether you use dry or fresh. A good amount because that's how the pasta gets its flavor. And don't salt or put oil until your pasta comes up to a boil because it's just going to slow down the process. So that's good to go. Let's get some oil in there. Now, my olive oil is handy. If you don't want to waste your expensive olive oil, this is not a taste issue. This is just to keep it from sticking. So you can go ahead and put vegetable oil if you would prefer. So I have my pasta ready to drop in very carefully. And let us do that. Try to separate it a smidge if I can, which I can, and that way it'll make it even easier as I'm cooking it to keep it from sticking. Now I use tongs. I don't know how people can live without them, but if you don't have tongs, just use a big slotted spoon and you definitely have to keep this moving. I am not going to cover it because I really want to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't stick. So let's get it back up to a nice, I kicked it back just a minute so that it wouldn't be splashing all over the stove. But now we're going to get it right back to a good rolling boil. And if you use dry, to get to al dente, it's generally 5 to 7 minutes. Fresh, 2 to 3 minutes. So this is going to be ready in no time at all. So let's start the sauce. Now, Alfredo, cream, butter, yum, and cheese. You cannot skimp on cheese if you want a good, delicious Alfredo. Let's get Mary warmed up here. I kept my butter out just so it's going to melt faster for me. This fresh pasta is, I want to say, 9 ounces. 9 ounces. I don't want it drowning in the sauce. I want it to be bathing nicely in the sauce. So I'm going to go with a half a stick. If you are using a pound of dry pasta, then yeah, you're going to want the whole stick. I found this nice DiGiorno. It's a combination of Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago. All delicious Italian, salty, perfect cheeses to make an Alfredo. Ordinarily, it's just Parmesan cheese. I mean, I like them all. Why not use them all? Here we go. That pasta is already getting really cranked up here. So we'll kick her back just a little bit. Oh, goodness, that looks wonderful. I really don't do fresh pasta all that often, but I'm kind of thinking I should because that looks really good. Okay, so your Alfredo. We've got this on a medium heat. We're going to get this butter softened up and melted in just a saute pan. Whatever you have is fine. And then we are going to start incorporating, I've got light cream. The heavier you go, the more calories you're dealing with, the more fat, but absolutely the better it is. So I'm going with light cream. You know, can you do it with milk? I suppose you could. Whole milk, maybe. But don't. I mean, if you're gonna splurge on something like this, you want it to be as good as you can make it. So I'm going with light cream. It has a nice consistency, nice texture, and obviously you add more cheese to thicken it up. So I'm gonna just get the cream going with the butter. Half a stick of butter. I'm gonna start with half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of cream, just to see how much I've got going here. I think that will work. And keep moving the pasta, moving it, because we do not want it to stick. And I can already tell that it's already coming along beautifully. Okay, as is this, beautifully melting. Stick of butter is almost completely melted. Don't go higher than a medium high. On Mary, it's about a 6 to 7. You don't want to boil this because you don't want to curdle the cream or the milk or whatever it is that you choose to use. You just need it to warm up gently so that we can start incorporating the cheese. So I just take my spatula and I start incorporating this awesome shredded cheese little bits at a time. And you do want it to come up to kind of a soft bubble, obviously, because you need that kind of heat to melt this shredded cheese. And it's doing it already. Now, as far as what people like to add to Alfredo, and again, the minute you get a confidence level making an Alfredo sauce, you can use it for all kinds of stuff. I know that because it's high in fat and calories, you don't want to use it all the time, but I do a chicken broccoli ziti with a basic Alfredo sauce that my kids adore. But I just think fettuccine is so delicious, you really don't need to do much. What I am going to do is I always keep frozen peas. Tom doesn't like peas. The kids don't like peas. So I eat peas when I'm in New Hampshire because I love peas. So I'm going to put some frozen peas, oh, this is coming up nicely, into the microwave because I'm going to blend that into mine. But you don't need to do anything. Some people like to add prosciutto. Prosciutto is extremely salty, so you got to be careful with that. You could put a piece of chicken breast on top. You can do anything. All right, and this is looking amazing. See how I told you how quick this happens? They add some more cheese. Okay, I want to bring my camera to you, bring you to me, I should say, a little bit closer so you can see the consistency of this sauce. Would be so nice if I had another camera person so I could keep my stationary camera and then have someone come do close-ups for me. But I don't. So I'm going to move this so you can see it. And let me grab a spoon so you can get an idea of the consistency of it. And it's just going to be a creamy, delicious coagulation. Can you kind of see how it pours there? It's just, oh, it's just going to be delicious. And I'm almost thinking that I want to get it whisked up a little bit as opposed to using my spatula because I'm realizing with all these cheeses, the Asiago is a little bit stringy, similar to a mozzarella. So this isn't really doing the job for me. So I will do it with my whisk. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, you don't have to add much of anything as far as a seasoning to an Alfredo sauce because ground pepper some people like, I'm not big on it. Fresh herbs are delicious. Oh my goodness gracious. It's so good. But you don't really need to add any seasonings because those cheeses are just so delicious on their own. But a sprinkle of fresh parsley when you're all done would be great. So I don't know if you were paying attention, but I know this has been less than 10 minutes. I can tell looking at this fettuccine that it is almost al dente. Let me see. Oh my goodness. It's delicious. Wow. I really do need to start using fresh pasta. I'm going to stick one in here just to cheat. And then, as I promised, I'll move the camera. Oh my goodness gracious. I kid you not. If this isn't heaven on earth, I really don't know what is. Let me break that so I don't burn my face off. Oh my gosh. I am telling you, you will impress anybody you make this for. You gotta do it. Don't forget, we got chocolate pot de creme to go with it. So let me put it all together so you can see. Outstanding. Be right back. Oh, delicious. Delicious.